Yeah, now we shall start the second module. Losses of pre-stress. In PSC application, the most important variable is the pre-stressing force. In early days, it was observed that pre-stressing force does not stay constant, but reduces with the time. Even during the transfer of the pre-stress to the concrete members and during the pre-stressing of the tendon, there is a drop of pre-stressing force from the recorded value in the jack gauge. The various reductions of the pre-stressing force are termed as losses in pre-stress. The losses are broadly classified into two types: immediate losses and time-dependent losses. The immediate losses occur during pre-stressing of the tendon and transfer of the pre-stress to the concrete member. This is about the immediate losses. In the same way, the time-dependent losses occur during the service life of the pre-stressed member. The losses due to elastic shortening of the member, friction at the tendon of the concrete interface, and slip of the anchorage are the immediate losses. The losses due to shrinkage, creep, and relaxation of steel are the time-dependent losses. Hence, we can group the immediate losses and time-dependent losses into these categories, like elastic, friction, anchorage, slip. These are the immediate losses. Means during the transfer of the pre-stress from tendon to the concrete, it will going to occur. As the time proceeds, due to shrinkage of the concrete, due to creep of the concrete, and due to relaxation of stress in the steel, these three losses are grouped under the time-dependent losses. These are the two categories: immediate losses and time-dependent losses. The main difference is immediate losses will going to occur at the time of transferring of the pre-stress from tendon to the concrete, and time-dependent losses will going to occur in the PSC member along with the time. Means at the as the age of the concrete proceeds, these losses will going to occur. This is about the immediate losses and the time-dependent losses. In immediate losses, we have elastic shortening, losses due to friction, and losses due to anchorage slip. And in case of time-dependent losses, we have losses due to shrinkage of the concrete, losses due to creep of the concrete, and also losses due to relaxation of stress in the steel. This is about the brief classification of the losses in the pre-stress as immediate losses and time-dependent losses. Now coming to the losses in the types of members, PSC members. Mainly we have pre-tension member and the post-tension member. Pre-tension member means the concrete is poured along the stretched tendon, that is pre-tensioning. Prior to the concreting, you are going to do the tensioning operation. Coming to the post-tension, against the hardened concrete, you are going to stress the tendon, that is post-tension. Again, the losses are different in these two conditions. In case of pre-tensioning, we will come across only four type of losses, that is elastic deformation of the concrete, relaxation of stress in steel, shrinkage of the concrete, and creep of the concrete. That is in case of pre-tension member. As compared with the post-tension member, again we have elastic deformation, relaxation, shrinkage of the concrete, creep, loss due to anchorage slip, and friction. There will be addition of these two losses, that is anchorage slip and friction. And there is a major difference is that is about the elastic deformation. There will be no stresses due to elastic deformation if all the wires are simultaneously tensioned. It implies that in case of post-tension member, if there are number of wires or strands, if all the wires are tensioned at a time, then there will be no elastic deformation losses. If the wires are successively tensioned, successively means one after the other. If the wires are tensioned one after the other, then there will be the losses in case of post-tensioned member. That is the only difference here. And compare with the pre-tensioning and post-tensioning, there will be addition of two types of losses, that is losses due to anchorage slip and losses due to friction in case of post tension member. That is the main differences in case of losses as compared with the pre-tensioned and post-tensioned members. Now we shall go with the one by one. First we shall consider the loss due to elastic deformation. Loss due to elastic deformation depends on the average stress in concrete at the level of steel and the modular ratio. Say this is the main loss which will going to govern the based on the modular ratio. Modular ratio means it is the ratio of Young's modulus of the steel to the Young's modulus of the concrete. That is defined as modular ratio. The loss due to elastic deformation depends on the average stress in concrete at the level of steel. In the previous chapter, that is in the first module, we have studied about the losses at the extreme fibers, means at the top fiber and at the bottom fiber. Now we need to concentrate on the stress in the concrete at the level of steel. At the level of steel means, say there is a rectangular cross section element, say this is the rectangular element. Say at the bottom there will be the steel, it is pre-tensioning steel. In the previous chapter, we have calculated the stresses at the extreme fibers, that is at the top fiber and the bottom fiber. But now in this case, while evaluating the loss due to elastic deformation, we need to calculate stresses at this level, stresses at the level of steel. So at this distance, we need to calculate the stresses in the concrete. Then that stress value we need to substitute here, that is FC. Stress in the concrete at the level of steel, we are going to call it as FC value. That FC value we need to substitute here. That stress in concrete at the level of steel multiplied by the modular ratio will going to give the losses due to elastic deformation. Losses due to elastic deformation. That is about the losses due to elastic deformation. Now the loss may be calculated as loss is equal to M into FC, where M is the modular ratio. M is equal to ES divided by EC. ES stands for modulus of elasticity of the steel or Young's modulus of the steel, and E suffix C stands for Young's modulus of the concrete. If these values, that is Young's modulus of steel and Young's modulus of concrete, are not given in the problem, then we have to consider these values. It is Young's modulus of steel as 2 into 10 raised to 5 Newton per mm square, and Young's modulus of concrete as 5700 root FCK. Say this provision is provided in the page number 16 of class 5.2.3.1 of IS 1343-1980. That is the design codebook for the pre-stressed concrete. That is Young's modulus of steel, we need to take it as 2 into 10 raised to 5 Newton per mm square, and Young's modulus of concrete 5700 root FCK. We know what we mean by FCK. FCK is the characteristic compressive strength of the concrete at 28 days of curing. For a given set of concrete, the FCK value will be mentioned at 28 days of curing. What will be the compressive strength of the concrete? It will be mentioned. That strength value we need to substitute here in order to calculate the Young's modulus of the concrete. Now, where FC is the stress in concrete at the level of steel, that is FC is equal to P by A plus M by I into E, where M is the moment due to load, pre-stressing force, P into E. Into E, this E distance, it is nothing but the position of the steel from the centroidal axis of the concrete. M means moment due to pre-stressing force and eccentricity. Again, we can rewrite it as P into E here. Here we can see is P into E. P into E is nothing but the moment due to pre-stressing force and eccentricity. It is, again, it is rewritten, but This eccentricity E means it is the position of the steel. It is the position of the steel from the centroidal axis or neutral axis of the concrete. Centroidal axis of the concrete. That is about the formula to calculate the stress in concrete at the level of steel. That is about the losses due to elastic deformation. Losses due to elastic deformation will going to occur in both pre-tension and post-tension member. In case of pre-tension member, it will be there, but in case of post tension member, if there is only one tendon, then there will be no loss due to elastic deformation. If there are number of tendons are there in case of post tension member and those tendons are tensioned one after the other, then there will be losses. If all the tendons are successively tensioned, there will be the losses. But if you tension the tendons at a time, then there will be no losses due to elastic deformation in case of the post-tension members. That is about the losses due to elastic deformation. Now we shall go with the losses due to shrinkage of the concrete. Losses due to shrinkage of the concrete. Shrinkage of the concrete is defined as contraction due to loss of moisture. You know about the shrinkage of the concrete. Due to shrinkage of the concrete, the pre-stress in the tendon is reduced with the time. It is the product of modulus of elasticity of steel and shrinkage strain of the concrete. It is given by this formula, that is loss is equal to shrinkage strain of the concrete into Young's modulus of the steel. Shrinkage strain, it will be mentioned in the problem. Shrinkage strain of the concrete is some value, it will be mentioned. Suppose the shrinkage strain of the concrete is not mentioned, means we need to follow the page number 16 of IS 1343 1980 codal provisions, because in this page, that is under clause 5.2.4.1, for pre-tension members the shrinkage strain is given it as 0.0003, and for the post-tension members it is given it as 0.002 divided by log to the base 10 of T plus 2. And also we know that Young's modulus of steel, it is 2 into 10 raised to 5 Newton per mm square. Loss due to this shrinkage of the concrete. The only thing is we need to remember these formulas. In order to calculate the loss due to elastic deformation, we have loss is equal to M into Fc, where M is the modular ratio and Fc is the stress in concrete at the level of steel. In the same way, while calculating the loss due to shrinkage of the concrete, we need to remember this formula, that is loss due to shrinkage is equal to shrinkage strain of the concrete multiplied by Young's modulus of the steel. That is about the loss due to shrinkage of the concrete. Now again we have loss of pre-stress due to creep of the concrete. Creep of the concrete is defined as the time dependent deformation of concrete under sustained loading. You know the effect of creep on the concrete. Now there will be loss in the pre-stress also due to creep of the concrete. Then how to calculate the loss of pre-stress due to creep of the concrete means we have two methods. It is creep coefficient method and ultimate creep strain method. In creep coefficient method, there will be creep coefficient. If the coefficient of creep is given, then we need to follow this formula. That is loss is equal to M into phi into Fc, where M is the modular ratio, phi is the creep coefficient, and Fc is the stress in concrete at the level of steel. Say if you consider these two terms, that will be the loss due to elastic deformation, M into Fc. First class we have studied M into Fc, that is the loss due to elastic deformation. If you multiply that loss with the creep coefficient, then it will be the loss due to creep of the concrete. Loss of pre-stress due to creep of the concrete. Suppose if ultimate creep strain of the concrete is given, then we need to switch on to this method. That is this formula, ultimate creep strain method. In this method, we are going to evaluate the loss of pre-stress due to creep of the concrete by this formula. That is, loss is equal to epsilon cc into fc into es, where epsilon cc is the ultimate creep strain for the sustained unit stress. If ultimate creep strain is given, we need to follow this second step to calculate the loss of creep. If the creep coefficient pi value is given, we need to switch on to creep coefficient method. There is a liberty to use these two formulas. Based on the data given, we need to calculate the loss of pre-stress due to creep of concrete by reviewing the data. If the ultimate creep strain is given, then we need to switch on to ultimate creep strain method. If the creep coefficient of the concrete is given, we need to switch to this formula, that is loss is equal to m into pi into fc. Again, here fc is the stress in concrete at the level of steel, and also es is the Young's modulus of the steel. It will be given. If the value of Young's modulus of steel is not given, again we need to assume it as 2 into 10 raised to 5 Newton per mm square. That is about the loss of pre-stress due to creep of the concrete. Now, again we shall move to the other type of losses, that is loss of pre-stress due to relaxation of the steel. The relaxation of the steel is defined as decrease in stress with the time under constant strain. Due to relaxation of the steel, the pre-stress in tendon is reduced with time. Again, it is given in the table 4 of clause 18.5.2.3 under page number 32. By using these provisions, we can calculate the relaxation losses of the steel in case of losses of pre-stress. Say, in some problems, we will going to mention the relaxation loss is 4%. Then in the total loss, we have to take 3%. If it is mentioned 4%, we have to take 4% of that losses or stress of the steel. That is about the loss of pre-stress due to relaxation of the steel. Coming to the next one, we have loss due to anchorage slip. Loss due to anchorage slip. This type of loss will be present only in case of the post-tension member, because anchorage slip means we are going to do the anchoring at the support. In case of pre-tension members, we are not going to do the anchoring at the pre-ends, because at the initial stage only we are going to tension the steel, and against the tension steel we are going to pour the concrete. But in case of post-tension member, first we are going to provide the concrete in the given section, leaving the hollow ducts. Okay. This part is the hollow duct here. Then what we are going to do, once the concrete is hardened, means once the concrete attains the sufficient strength, then we are going to pass the steel wires or tendons in these ducts. Then we are going to do the tensioning operation. Once the tension, we need to do the anchoring at the supports. Anchoring means fixing the tensioned steel at the supports. At both the ends, we need to fix the tendons. At the time of fixing, there are chances of slipping of the tendons. Then that loss is referred as loss of pre-stress due to anchorage slip. Now, we have formula to evaluate the loss of pre-stress due to anchorage slip. It is loss is equal to delta into ES divided by L, where delta is the slip of the steel, that is slip of the steel tendon. In case of we need to substitute here into Young's modulus of the steel divided by L, that is length of the pre-stressed member, that is post-tensioned member. Pre-stressed means especially in case of post-tension, loss is equal to delta into ES divided by L, where delta is the slip measured in terms of millimeter, ES that is Young's modulus of steel, all divided by length of the member. How to get this formula means we know This delta is equal to PL by AE. From basic sum equation, we have PL by AE. This P by A, we are taking it as stress, that is ES. P by A, stress, that is loss, into L by E. If you cross multiply, then the loss will be equal to delta ES by L. It is about the loss of pre-stress due to anchorage slip. Then how to evaluate this loss means loss is equal to delta into ES by L, where delta is the slip of anchorage in mm, L is the length of cable in terms of millimeter. Length of cable, again it will be equal to length of the member, because along the length only we are going to stretch the cable. So we can substitute length of the beam. Usually length of the beam, we are going to take it as length of the cable. It is about the loss of pre-stress due to anchorage slip. Now coming to loss of pre-stress due to friction. Loss of pre-stress due to friction, we can classify it into loss due to length effect and also loss due to curvature effect. Now first we shall go with the length effect. The friction generated at the interface of concrete and steel during the stretching of the curved tendon in a post-tension member leads to drop in the pre-stress along the member, that is from the stretched end to the fixed end. Usually in case of PT members, that is post-tension members, at one end we are going to fix the tendons. Say it is the left end. Left end alli tendon na fix ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. On the other end, along the member, there will be the cable. It may be straight or curved based on the given requirement. Based on the requirements, we are going to design the cable profile. That is what we have seen in case of load balancing concept. In case of load balancing concept, we are going to design the cable profile based on the bending moments diagrams. That is, it may be bending moment diagram due to pre-stressing force and eccentricity, and also bending moment due to dead load and live load. In order to balance the sagging bending moment, we are going to design the hogging bending moment profile. So that is about the load balancing concept. Here what we are going to do, at the one end we are going to fix the cable. During tensioning operation, usually one end will be the fixed one, and the other end we are going to do the jacking operation. Means tensioning is done only at the one end. One end will be fixed and tensioning will be done only at the other end. What happens here, the stresses will go into vary. Here the stress will be more, here the stress will be less based on the cable profile. These 2 points we may not get the same stress value. Stress in the steel will going to vary from one end to the other end. That is loss of pre-stress due to friction. That loss is governed by the loss of pre-stress due to friction. Now, first we shall go with the length effect. The loss due to friction may be classified as loss due to length effect. Length effect means the extent of friction met within the straight tendon due to slight imperfection of the duct. Slight imperfection of the duct means, say the duct what you have provided is not at the same levels throughout the span. It will going to vary. The duct what you have provided for passing of the cables will going to vary. Means the position may not be at the same level, because while casting the beams, if you consider the PT members, the span will be more like 30 meter, 40 meter beams. Then if you consider the ducts at all the points, the ducts may not be at the same level. Means there will be slight imperfection of the duct. Due to that slight imperfection of the duct, there will be loss due to length effect. Means as the length of the member increases, there may be chances of increasing the imperfections of the ducts. That duct is meant for passing the cables in order to do the tensioning operations. Okay. In practice, the duct meant for the straight tendon is not absolutely straight. Hence, the cable will touch the duct or concrete. hollow space ಅಲ್ಲಿ surrounding ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ ಕಾಂಕ್ರೀಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದು ಕಾಂಕ್ರೀಟ್ ಸರ್ಫೇಸ್ ನ ಟಚ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಟಚ್ ಆಗೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, there will be friction developed between the steel tendon and the surrounding concrete. That will going to account for the loss of length effect, loss due to length effect. This loss may be also called as loss due to wobble effect or wave effect. ಇದನ್ನ length effect ನ wobble effect ಕೂಡ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ ಅಥವಾ wave effect ಅಂತ ಕೂಡ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. The pre-stressing force Px in the tendon at a distance x from the jack is given by this formula. Px is equal to P naught into e raised to minus k into x, where P naught is the pre-stressing force at the jacking end. Jacking means tensioning end. Jacking end and the fixed end. There are two ends in a beam. The cable is fixed at the one end, that is fixed end, and the cable is tensioned at the other end. That end is referred as jacking end, where P naught is the pre-stressing force at the jacking end. It is about the P naught, and K is the friction coefficient. For different materials, that friction value will be different. K is the coefficient of friction. K is the coefficient of friction. K is the coefficient called wobble correction factor. Then we have loss due to curvature effect. Second one, in case of the curved ducts, the loss of pre-stress depends on the radius of gyration or of the duct and the coefficient of friction between the duct surface and tendon. This loss due to curvature effect is given by this formula. That is, loss is equal to Px is equal to x means at a known distance, whatever may be the distance, we need to substitute the distance. At what length of the beam you are going to evaluate the loss due to friction, that represents the x distance. Px is equal to P naught into 1 minus mu alpha minus kx. Loss due to friction means loss due to length effect plus loss due to curvature effect. Yes, on combining these two formulas, we can remember only this formula to calculate the loss due to friction. That is, the combined curvature effect and length effect is substituted and simplified, and we have arrived at this formula. That is, loss due to friction is equal to Px is equal to P naught into mu alpha plus Kx. Px is the loss at a known distance, whatever may be the distance that we are going to determine. P naught, that is the initial pre-stress in the tendon. This small p indicates the stress value. P naught indicates the stress. Here you are written P naught is equal to initial pre-stress in the tendon. And also mu is the coefficient of friction between cable and the duct. Cable is nothing but the steel here, and duct is nothing but the concrete. Steel and concrete, coefficient of friction between steel and concrete. Alpha is the cumulative angle in radians. It will going to change for different cable profiles that we shall discuss here. That is, alpha is the cumulative angle in the radians. In radians we need to substitute here. And also K is the wave effect or wobble effect per meter. Per meter we need to substitute the value of K here. Due to friction, the only thing is we need to remember this formula. Px is equal to P naught into mu alpha plus Kx. This is very important. If you remember this formula, you can calculate the loss due to friction. It may be the friction may be due to length effect and also curvature effect. On combining those two effects, we are going to arrive at this formula. The thing is, we need to remember this formula. This Px is equal to P naught into mu alpha plus Kx. This is the formula. Now, we shall see the value of alpha for different cable profiles. First, we shall see the parabolic cable. Say, this is a pre-stressed member. It is a beam. Say the length L. It is pre-stressed by a parabolic cable here. So this is This beam is pre-tension beam is pre-stressed by a parabolic cable. It is having a eccentricity of E at the midspan and it is concentric at the supports. At the supports, eccentricity is 0 and at the midspan, eccentricity is E. Now, say 2 theta will be the angle of inclination. Is here we have theta and also for the other part of the cable also we have theta. Say this is the curvature. If the tensioning is from the one end, ಅಂದ್ರೆ one end ಇಂದ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ನಾವು ಟೆನ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅಥವಾ ಜಾಕಿಂಗ್ ಎಂಡ್ one side ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಇದ್ರೆ we need to consider theta is equal to 4 into E divided by L. Just we need to remember all these formulas. These formulas are very important. We need to remember these formulas for parabolic cable profile and for the linearly varying cable profile. We need to remember these formulas. And also for these conditions, if the jacking is from one end, ಅಂದ್ರೆ one end ಅಲ್ಲಿ fix ಮಾಡಿ other end ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತ್ರ ನಾವು tension ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರೆ, that is we are going to call it as jacking from one end. Suppose if the cable is passed and at both the ends we are going to do the tensioning, then we are going to call it as jacking from both the ends. ಇವಾಗ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಕೂಡ ಟೆನ್ಷನಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಅವಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಜಾಕಿಂಗ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಬೋತ್ ಎಂಡ್ಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ದೆನ್ ದೀಸ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಪಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಟು ಪಿ ನಾಟ್ ಇಂಟು ಮ್ಯೂ ಆಲ್ಫಾ ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಕೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್. ಈ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ವಿ ನೀಡ್ ಟು ನೋ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದ ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್. ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ನೋಡಬೇಕು, ಆಲ್ಫಾ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ನೋಡಬೇಕು, theta, because alpha theta is very important in calculating the alpha value. Hence, we need to remember the theta value. For a parabolic cable, if the tensioning is from one end, then theta is given by 4E by L. Theta is given by 4E by L, because from the parabola equation we arrive at this formula. Theta is equal to 4E by L. Now alpha is equal to 2 theta. You can see here, curvature angle alpha is equal to 2 times theta. Now x is equal to L. ಅಂದ್ರೆ one end ಇದ್ರೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಈ ಎಂಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಜಾಕಿಂಗ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. Only at the right end we have the jacking system, means that x distance is equal to L. If the jacking is from both the ends, then theta is equal to 4E divided by L. Now that E is the eccentricity of the cable at the midspan. Then alpha is equal to theta. ಎರಡು ಸೈಡ್ ಇದ್ದ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಆಲ್ಫಾ ಥೀಟಾ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದೆನ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಟು ಎಲ್ ಬೈ ಟು. ಎರಡು ಸೈಡ್ ಇದ್ದ ಜಾಕಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಟೋಟಲ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಟು ಎಲ್ ಡಿವೈಡೆಡ್ ಬೈ 2. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದ ಪ್ಯಾರಾಬೋಲಿಕ್ ಕೇಬಲ್ ವೇರಿಯೇಷನ್. Now, for a linearly bent cable, we have these formulas. That is, theta is equal to 2E by L, and alpha is equal to 2 theta, and x is equal to L. If the jacking is from both the ends, then theta is equal to 2E by L, alpha is equal to theta, and x is equal to L by 2. This is about the loss due to friction. These are the main losses in case of pre-tensioned and post-tensioned members. We need to remember these formulas. Again, we are going to brief up. In case of pre-tensioned members, we have only 4 types of losses: loss due to elastic deformation, relaxation, creep, and shrinkage. In addition to these 4 losses, in case of post-tension members, we have loss due to anchorage slip and loss due to friction. This is about the brief introduction about the types of losses in case of pre-tension members and post-tension members. In the exam, they may ask, explain the types of losses in pre-tension members. We need to mention all the 4 losses that are going to occur in case of pre-tension member. And also we need to explain each type of losses. How to determine the each type of losses, we need to explain with the formula. Formulas are very important in evaluating the types of losses. In the same way, explain the types of losses in post-tension members means first we need to lose all these 6 losses, and we need to emphasize on the elastic deformation. There will be no loss due to elastic deformation if all the wires are simultaneously tensioned, simultaneously or at a time. If the wires are successively tensioned, then there will be loss of free-stress. This is about the types of losses in case of pre-tension members. With this introduction, now we shall solve the problems to evaluate the losses in case of pre-tension and post-tension members. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ತನಕ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಡೌಟ್ ಇದೆನಾ? ಏನಾದ್ರು ಡೌಟ್ ಇದೆನಾ? Any doubts?
No, sir.
Problem solve ಮಾಡಬಹುದಾ? Shall I proceed for the problems? Shall I proceed for the problems? Zilani?
हाँ सर, ओके सर.
Okay. Now we shall solve some problems to evaluate the losses in the pre-tension as well as post-tension members. So we take up the first problem. A PSC beam 200 by 300 mm has a span of 6 meters. The cross-section dimensions are given. 200 mm is breadth of the beam and 300 mm is the depth of the beam. And the span of the beam is 6 meters. It is a PSC beam. The span of this beam is 6 meters. Is initially pre-stressed by a force of 400 kilonewton applied at a constant eccentricity of 70 mm. The position of the steel it is given, it is below the centroidal axis of the concrete, it is 70 mm. And also the force in the cable is 400 kilonewton. Force in the cable is 400 kilonewton. The tendons have an area of 400 mm square. The cross-section area of the tendons is also given. Force is known, area is known. We can calculate the stress in the tendon because force divided by area will be the stress in the steel. 400 kilonewton, that is stress in, force in the steel, and 400 mm square, that is area of the, that is cross-sectional area of the steel. Force by area, that will be the loss. That will be the stress. And also if Young's modulus of steel is 2 into 10 raised to 5 Newton per mm square and Young's modulus of concrete is 0.333 into 10 raised to 5 Newton per mm square, creep coefficient of concrete is 2 and shrinkage strain is 0.0002. This is the given problem. Stress relaxation in steel, it is also given 3%. Find the percentage loss of stress in the tendon. Idistu data ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾನೆ. ಇದರಿಂದ ಎಷ್ಟು ಲಾಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ when compared with the initial stress of the steel. We need to find out the percentage loss of the stress in tendon. First, we need to take down the given data. Say the breadth of the beam is 200 mm, depth of the beam is 300 mm, and the span of the beam is 6 meters. And position of the steel, it is very important. It is, the steel is located at a distance of 70 mm from the centroidal axis of the concrete. Centroidal axis of the concrete. So this is the cross section and this is the longitudinal section. And also has given the pre-stressing force in the cable as 400 kilonewton. By the given data, we can calculate the area of the concrete. That is cross-sectional area of the concrete is equal to 200 into 300, which is equal to 60,000 mm square. Moment of inertia I is equal to BD cube by 12. For the rectangular section, we have the formula to calculate the moment of inertia BD cube by 12. B is the breadth of the beam, D is the overall depth of the beam divided by 12. On evaluating, we are going to get 450 into 10 raised to 6 mm raised to 4. Unit per moment of inertia will be mm raised to 4 because we have substituted breadth and depth in terms of millimeter. We need to get the unit in terms of mm raised to 4. Then we can first calculate the loss due to elastic deformation. How to calculate the loss due to elastic deformation? We have the formula. Loss is equal to m into Fc. Loss is equal to m into Fc. This is the main formula to evaluate the elastic deformation. No, loss is equal to m into Fc. Then what do you mean by m? As I told previously, m is the modular ratio. Modular ratio means it is defined as the ratio of Young's modulus of steel to the Young's modulus of concrete. Young's modulus of steel, if it is given, we need to write that. If it is not given, we need to write 2 into 10 raised to 5 Newton per mm square. In this problem, yes, it has given, so we can write it as 2 into 10 raised to 5. Young's modulus of concrete, it is also given, so it is 0.333 into 10 raised to 5. On simplification, we get the modular ratio, that is m value as 6. It is about the modular ratio. Now we have calculated the modular ratio. The remaining is Fc value. Fc means stress in the concrete at the level of steel. We need to calculate with the basic equation, that is Fc is equal to P by A plus moment due to pre-stressing force and eccentricity divided by moment of inertia at the level of steel. Means position of steel, we need to write it here. In simplification, P means pre-stressing force in the cable. It is 400 kilonewton. 400 into 10 raised to 3. A, area of the concrete. We should substitute here the area of the concrete, not the area of steel. Cross-sectional area of the concrete we need to substitute here. It is AC, area of the concrete. It is 200 by 300. It will be 60,000 mm square. 60,000 value na substitute ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಮಿಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಎಲ್ಲಾದರೂ ನಾವು 400 mm square na substitute ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ that will not be the stress in the concrete. That will become the stress in steel ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ P by A ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಂಕ್ರೀಟ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಸ್ನ ಕಾಂಕ್ರೀಟ್ ಏರಿಯಾನ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದ P by A plus P into E, that is moment due to pre-stress. P into E. P pre-stressing force 400 into 10 raised to 3. Position, it is located at a distance of 70 mm from the centroidal axis, hence it is into 70 divided by moment of inertia. I get calculated here, it is 450 into 10 raised to 6. 450 into 10 raised to 6 into, again there is a E value here. This indicates the position of the steel, where the position of the steel is. In this problem, the position of the steel is located at a distance of, at an eccentricity of 70 mm. Hence, we need to substitute the value of 70 mm here. On simplification, we get Fc, that is stress in concrete at the level of steel, as 11.02 Newton per mm square. 11.02 Newton per mm square. Now we can calculate the loss as m into Fc. M is 6 and Fc is 11.02. Hence the loss will be equal to 66.13 Newton per mm square. Loss will be in the form of stress. It is the loss in the stress expressed in terms of Newton per mm square. Hence the loss due to elastic deformation is 66.13 Newton per mm square. Second one, that is loss due to creep of concrete. In this problem, creep coefficient is given. If the ultimate creep strain is given, we have switched to the ultimate creep strain method to calculate the loss due to creep. But in this problem, he has mentioned the creep coefficient, that is pi value as given. Hence, using creep coefficient method, it is by using this formula, we need to calculate the loss due to creep of the concrete. Hence, loss is equal to m into phi into Fc. In the above case, we have calculated m into Fc. M into Fc is 66.13 into phi value, creep coefficient, that is 2 into 66.13. It will be 132.27 Newton per mm square. That is the loss due to creep. Next we have loss due to shrinkage. Shrinkage strain, ultimate shrinkage strain of the concrete, it has given shrinkage strain of the concrete multiplied by Young's modulus of the steel, 0.0002 into 2 into 10 raised to 5. It will be 40 Newton per mm square. Loss due to shrinkage is equal to 40 Newton per mm square. In the same way, relaxation loss in this problem, it has given the relaxation of steel is 3%. Hence, we have to consider only 3% of the initial stress. Then what will be the initial stress? P initial means stress in the steel initial stage is equal to initial force divided by area of the steel area. Now, at this point, we need to substitute the area of steel, which is equal to 400 into 10 raised to 3 divided by 400, that is 1000 Newton per mm square. Say this is the initial stress. In this initial stress, the loss due to relaxation will be 3%. Means 3% of 1000 Newton per mm square, we need to take it as loss due to relaxation. Now, 3%, 3 divided by 100 will be equal to 0.03. 0.03 into 1000, it will be 30 Newton per mm square. Hence, the loss due to relaxation of the steel will be equal to 30 Newton per mm square. Then we need to add all these four losses, that is final stress in the steel. After all losses, what will be the final stress values in the steel? In the initial stress, we need to subtract the sum of the losses. It is losses due to elastic deformation, creep, shrinkage, and also relaxation of the steel. If you subtract all these losses in the initial stress of the steel, then it will be the final stress in the steel. Then the final stress will be 1000 minus sum of all these losses. 1000 because it is the initial stress. That is what we have got in the earlier case. Here we have 1000. P initial is 1000 Newton per mm square. In 1000 Newton per mm square, we need to subtract all these four losses. Then that will be the final loss. Then the final force is equal to, how to calculate the force means this final stress multiplied by the area of steel. Final stress is 731.6 multiplied by the area of steel. It will be the final pre-stressing force in the tendon. Initial pre-stressing force is 400 kilonewton. It is given in the data. Means after all losses, the final pre-stressing force is 292.64 kilonewton. So this is the final pre-stressing force. Then what is the percentage of loss means? This is the total loss, 260. If we add all these losses, it will be 268.4 divided by initial loss is 1000 into 100. Means you are converting it into the percentage. Final losses, that is total loss divided by initial loss into 1000. It will be 26.84%. Means in case of 1000 Newton, 26.84% will be due to all this elastic deformation, creep, shrinkage, and relaxation. 26% of the losses in the member in this case. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ ಈ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್? ಈ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಈ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ?
ಎಸ್ ಸರ್.
ಮತ್ತೇನಾದ್ರು ಡೌಟ್ಸ್ ಇದೆನಾ ಈ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ? ಇಲ್ಲಿ ತನಕ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಡೌಟ್ಸ್ ಇದೆನಾ?
No, sir.
No doubts. Okay. From next class, we shall go with the further problems. Okay.